Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is me, Coach Aqeel, and exclusively on VoUK TV. We've got a very special show for you today. But before we get into that, as always, guys, click the link below to subscribe and to like this channel, and also click the bell button so that you get to know when new videos are uploaded here on VoUK TV. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest, a very good friend of mine. I'll let her introduce herself to you. Her name is Reverend Malaika. Reverend Malaika, and she is an Interfaith minister. Can you just explain what exactly that is?
I always enjoy explaining it because I know lots of people don't know what it is. The school that I went to, they train up individuals to be people ministers.
Okay.
And so we study, not in depth, but we study about 12 faiths.
Okay.
And people of no faith.
Yeah.
And they invite you to go and break bread with that person of faith and go to their place of worship.
Okay.
And experience a service with them.
Right, okay.
And then you'd write about it.
Right.
How that experience was for you. You would even write what you didn't like and what you did like about it as well. And the second year you learn to be, you train to be a spiritual counsellor.
Okay.
And then you also learn how to do baby blessings, funerals, weddings, and any other type of ceremony.
So do you learn to do that in the context of other faiths? Or
how you do it is you, there is a basic format that they've got, but you don't have to use that. Because if I'm going to marry, say, a Muslim and a Christian, they may want to use a bit of Christianity and a bit of Muslim. Or you might get a person that doesn't have a faith and doesn't want the word God used, but that doesn't mean that they can't have a ceremony. So you have a basic sheet,
but then you
make it very bespoke and customised to each and individual. So no funeral or wedding or baby blessing is ever the same.
Right, excellent.
It's designed very tailored to you, to what you want or you and the partner want.
Okay. So in your day, give me a day in the life of a reverend.
So I'll just retrack a little bit. Every minister does a different job.
Okay.
You do what you're called to do.
Yeah.
So I've got a minister friend who's got a retreat in Wales where you go and have like treatments and prayer and meet different treatments with her, and you eat veggie food, and she grows lots of fruit and veg on the retreat as well.
Okay. And
then another minister friend, she makes the stoles that we wear.
Right.
Because you design your own clothes. So this is what I bury people in, what I've got on today. And my stole is the same colour.
Right.
But then I've got a cream outfit for when I do weddings and baby blessings.
Right, okay.
So everyone does it different. Everyone's is different. You tailor your outfit to you.
Yeah.
And so she makes the stoles that we wear.
Right.
And then another minister, she has created an interfaith school.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's got like artifacts of different faiths, and they practice, they take part in every faith that happens and stuff like that. And then there's another minister that he does like really funky funerals.
Okay.
Really alternative funerals. He's here in Garton actually.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And so every minister has their own
way
thing,
of doing things. And
so I was quite involved with like our gang culture that we had back in the 2007, 6.
Yeah.
And I was trying to create peace activities around that.
Right.
When I was in Old Trafford.
Yeah.
And so I used to get a lot of faiths in, different faiths. I found that lots of different faiths used to come and support us what we were doing.
Yeah.
The Muslims would drop off a pot of whatever.
Biryani.
Yeah, and then the Hindus would drop off another pot of something else. And so
generally people who would always want to try and come and
it was
help.
always different faiths I found. So I always had like an interest in the gang culture, and it wasn't so much directly working with the young people, but it was more around creating peace events in Old Trafford and also working with policy and IAG and the police.
Yeah.
And so I kind of stuck on that peace road So I am a peace ambassador for an organisation in Wales.
Okay.
And they provide, I haven't got one on, I go into schools and do workshops with any group that wants to do it. But we make rainbow beads.
Okay.
And each colour is a different faith.
Right.
And there's a bead there for people of no faith.
Yeah.
And you get a little booklet about it, and it's called a peace marler.
Wow, okay.
So I've kind of focused a lot of my work around trying to create peace.
Why was that important for you?
I think that I've not had an easy life in my personal life. But whenever I have had a trauma or a challenge, I've tried to create something great out of it.
Okay.
And the whole world needs peace somewhere along the line. There's so much conflict and hate crime. There's so much people with burdens and people either hating themselves or hating other people. And from a young girl, I lived in Cheetham Hill, actually, where we are now. I lived on a white working class estate, Aqeel, and most days I was called racist names by the white working class.
Right, okay.
And from a very, very young age, because I used to pray to God when I was a little girl and ask him to help me to make the naughty children be kind children that used to call me racist names. But I remember that from like pre-teenage years, I distinctively made the choice that I wanted to choose friends, not necessarily by their race, but if their heart and mind connected with mine. Right. So from a very young age,
when you say young age, how old were you then?
I'd say 9, 10.
Wow.
9, 10. And what happened to me, I had a couple of white working class friends, but it's like God presented a Jewish friend, a Muslim friend who I'm still in touch with, a Sikh friend, and then because my family were Rastafarians, I had lots of Rastafarian friends as well. So from a very, very young age, there was something about a pull to create this rainbow of friends in my life. Yeah. However, I am still very passionate about Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
And even in that rainbowness world, I always pushed the Black Lives Matter issue as well. Yeah. So it's like me being passionate around the peace, it's like I run with the baton for Black Lives Matter, but then I run with the baton for diversity.
Yeah. And I think I think that they both can go hand in hand.
I believe that. I know a lot of us don't, but I personally do believe that. I think that the two can be married in different ways. So I do a lot of voluntary work. And so my main work in my interfaith ministry is trying to create and promote that peace baton. Yeah. But also I do a lot of work around interfaith.
Okay. Yeah. The thing I was gonna kind of come back to, because you talked about how you've not had an easy life. Yeah. And the way that what you've tried to physically do is take that trauma and make it into something positive. So I think for me that's one of the things that I try and live by is that, you know, things happen. I believe that things always happen for a reason.
Definitely.
And, you know, I have this mantra that, you know, things don't happen to you, things happen for you. And sometimes the biggest trauma that you can go through can be a godsend.
Yes, of course. If you allow it to be.
Yes, if you allow.
You have a choice in that.
Yes. And it's always all about choice. But I suppose that a lot of time people don't recognise that. I see that they will run a pattern of behaviour and they'll say, okay, well, this is just the way that I am. Well, actually, no, it's not. It's if you can kind of recognise what's going on, you can actually interject, like say, actually, this has happened to me, but I'm not going to let it affect me for the rest of my life. I'm going to choose to use that and let that be my driving force, so I can be a force of good in the world. Yeah. And it seems that that's kind of like where the route that you've kind of like gone down.
My most recent trauma was my uncle took his own life 2.5 years ago. Okay. And, you know, this was a black man who lived in Warrington. He had a very good career. He was a social worker. You know, he had a very adventurous life. He went travelling twice a year. He had a huge circle of friends. And as the coroner said that, you know, Brian Boscombe was the to-go-to guy. Right. So that just speaks volumes of who his spirit was. And even though I didn't see him much, I admired him. And whenever we did see each other, we had a really nice connection.
Yeah.
Because I was raised by his mother.
Right,
and
okay.
he's the last child of the 7.
Yeah.
So me and him lived like brother and sister,
Yes,
even though we were... Yeah. He would never let me call him uncle.
Right.
He said I must call him
but
brother.
you grew up together and that was a connection that you had.
Yeah. We lived in the same house until he, you know, left home and stuff. And I went on a discovery road and I started to look at suicide because I really wanted to get to grips with it and I really wanted to understand it. And I found that it's a very taboo subject. People are ashamed to talk about it. I learned that a lot of faiths believe it's the devil and the dark side that makes you do, you know, make that choice. And I also realised that it's like a form of mental health you go through when the day when you choose to do that. Yeah. And after much thinking and discovering, I created a chat show.
Okay.
And I basically encourage people to tell their life story.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what that trauma. As I set a seed. Yeah. And I created. It's called the Ubuntu Show, and it's in the loss of losing my uncle and him taking his life.
How can people access that?
It's on Mixcloud and it's through Sonda Radio Show. They host it for me. Yeah.
Well, maybe what we'll do then, we'll get the producers to put this in the
links so it's on the Sonda. You can get it through. Is it at Mixcloud? And it's the Sonda Show. And I've done about 6 series, and I've got another few that I'm doing the next couple of weeks. Yeah. So that's just an example of some
that trauma being turned on to something positive.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk about what's been happening kind of like recently, and how we're kind of like using these traumas to kind of like be a force of good and bring people together. Don't forget, guys, like and subscribe. Coach Aqeel here on VoUK TV exclusively talks to you about everything positive to do with your mental well-being, your health, and your spiritual vitality. Okay guys, assalamu alaikum, welcome back. This is me, Coach Aqeel, exclusively on VoUK TV, and we've got my special guest in the studio, Interfaith Minister Malaika, who's been talking about kind of like how we take and use trauma and how we can use that as a force to do good. So we've been doing a lot of community work, obviously around Moss Side, South Manchester, and recently we kind of like our paths have crossed again, and I suppose we got involved. We're involved in an incident that was quite unfortunate. Yeah. But I think that from that we've kind of like got a lot of positives. And I think sometimes people get annoyed with me because I always find positive things in people.
It'll be the negative people though that get frustrated with that.
I call them social vampires. But that's another show.
That's a good name. Yeah,
but,
I like it.
You know, it's like COVID-19. COVID-19 happened, and people go into a panic. Okay, what's going to happen? People are uncertain about the future. I actually believe that, okay, people have died through COVID-19. Let's not discount that, and it has been very tragic for a lot of people, but I do believe that a lot of good has come from this. And I've said this on the show before, I see a lot more people out looking after their health, reflecting on kind of like the fact that, live life to the fullest. I go out walking a lot, and you'll see a lot more people out walking with families, having family time, and a lot more people are at peace. It seems like they're at peace with themselves. I've definitely spent a lot more time with my children, connecting with my kids, and I think that my bond with them has gone a lot stronger. So I do believe that when we, in years to come, when we reflect on COVID, I'm going to be thinking of it quite positively.
Yeah.
And it's about, for me, it's about always trying to look at what's happening and how we can use it.
Yeah. I wasn't afraid at all, and I do believe that, I think our lives are written. I think our path is written. We wake up every day, but we can go down either path. Mm-hmm. I think that the spiritual reasons why COVID happened was because we were all on a rat race.
Yeah.
And we needed to stay at home.
Yeah.
And there's a beautiful poem that I shared when we first went into lockdown. I'll send it you as well, in case you ever want to use it. It's called "And We Stayed at Home," and the people stayed at home.
Okay.
And basically, it talks about we read. Why
don't you recite it now?
I don't know it. I don't know it all
Okay,
off by heart.
right.
But it's quite a lengthy thing.
Okay.
But I can break it down to give you the content.
Okay.
And we stayed at home, and we cooked and we baked and we prayed and we meditated and we swam and we read and we made things. We met our shadow.
Yeah.
We had dark times.
Yeah.
We connected. We spent quality time and all these wonderful things. And then it says, and then we came out. We were slower.
Yeah.
We looked at life differently.
Yeah.
We connected differently with people. We made different choices.
Yeah.
We did different things. So for me, the COVID spiritually was about us stopping and checking ourselves.
Yeah.
It was about us choosing to be indoors and to make different choices while you're indoors, and for when you come back out.
Yeah.
It was a time for us to learn new skills.
Yeah.
It was a time for us to eat and do our physical energy differently to when we did it before.
Yeah. Definitely, because I believe that many people just going through the motions
of just living.
We're not really living. We're just going through the motions in a kind of cryostasis, not really being aware of what's going on and how beautiful life is and all the things around us. But I think that this has allowed us to kind of stop and take note of everything. I think the one thing that I would kind of say is that I was quite skeptical at first, like everyone else was skeptical of what's going on, and I didn't really take it very seriously. Until a very good friend of mine who's an imam, he posted up a video on thinking and basically said, "This is real, this is serious, this is what can happen."
Wow.
And that woke me up.
Yeah.
And then I kind of relaxed a little bit again, like you do. And I got a letter through the door saying, "Hello, Mr. Burton, you're one of our high risk people, blah 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 blah." So then I thought, what's this nonsense? And then I started to hear about people passing away.
Yeah,
and
we lost a lot in our community.
So then I started to think, well, actually, you know what? You need to take stock because this could happen at any time.
Yeah.
And for me, one of my big things that I always think about is just living and achieving and doing stuff. Things that you've got in mind that you want to do, I always used to put them off. And I've said, you know what? I don't know when my last day is.
No.
Okay? As a person of faith, we know that our last breath is written. So it's what you do in between that makes a difference. So from that moment on, I decided that, you know what, I'm not going to live holding back. I'm going to live to the fullest as much as possible and enjoy life.
And treat every day like it's your last.
Bring joy to people.
Yeah.
So
that's really important. Yeah. Well done.
I can remember being in the queue at White City. There was a queue for people queuing up to go in Aldi, people queuing up to go in Iceland, and this guy came up and he was, there were two people and they both came at the same time. It's about synchronicity. And this one person, guy came up and he was complaining, "Why have we got a queue up? I don't believe it's all real," and blah, 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 blah. And he was going on with himself. And another young woman came up after him and she just got out of the car and she had a bit of an argy-bargy with her partner. So this guy comes, he stood behind me and he's like, he made eye contact, we started talking, he said, look, I don't believe all this is necessary and blah, blah, blah. Why have we got to 2 meters apart? Why have we got to wear masks? So what I found out what his situation was. He's got his wife is at home, she's pregnant. She was due to give birth in a couple of weeks. So I'm saying, look, bro, it's like this. The reason why we're taking these precautions is because so that you make sure that you're healthy, so that you don't get ill and become very sick and pass it on to your wife and your child, and that you're there for your child. So it's just a precaution. And you can see the penny dropped. And then this woman who was having this argy-bargy in the car, you can see that her whole perspective on everything changed as well. Because she was quite angry. I can't remember what was going on, but she was quite angry with the partner. She got out of the car in a bit of a stroff. But then you could see that her whole body language changed. Because you recognise, actually, you know what, we're fallible. We are human beings, and that we live and we die. We don't know when it's going to happen. So we should try and live life to the fullest and don't hold back. And don't hold back your love.
No.
Don't hold back your love.
Because I know that I've really bonded with my older son, Jazz. We ended up isolating more or less together. And I can see where if we didn't have COVID, we wouldn't have the connection that we've got now. And I really enjoy it. It's really nice, actually. And I didn't plan it. It just came out of COVID.
Naturally,
My other comment is that as a woman of faith, you know, in my personal life, I'm a Christian, but a very open-minded, kind of free, hippie thinking Christian. Now, I know many might not like that, but it's the only way I can describe it. But, you know, I've got a very good, strong prayer relationship with God, and I walk and pray every day, well, most days, as that's part of my chosen ritual. I don't go to a church, but my thing is prayer and journaling, and I've got a really good, strong relationship with God. But that's personal, and I don't preach that. And even in my ministry, I'm not a preacher. I'm more of a life experience, testimonial type of
walking
minister.
The walk rather than talking the talk.
But what I do believe is that no matter how old you are, or what the circumstances is, when we die, it is God calling us back home. Because he thinks that your work on earth has done. And he now has greater work for you in the spirit world.
Brilliant. And that's a brilliant way to look at it.
And I've always seen it like that. So death doesn't me as much as it's with other people, because that is my belief. I believe your time is up. So those that we lost in COVID, it was their time.
And they've gone to something better.
And they've gone to something better now, because their time here was up. And their skills and their love and their blessings is now needed in the spirit world.
Brilliant. Guys, so there we have it. This is Reverend Malik, Interfaith Minister, and a Coach Aqeel show here on VoUK TV. We're going to take another short break, and we'll be right back after this word from our sponsors. Assalamu alaikum, guys. Welcome back to this special show with your man Coach Aqeel here, exclusively on VoUK TV, your TV station. As always, guys, please like and subscribe down below. And also, don't forget to drop your comments. You know, I like to connect with you guys. Tell me what you think of the show. Has it been useful? What things you'd like to see me talk about? Who I should get on? I'm here to serve you guys, okay? All right, don't forget to click the bell button so you get to know when the new videos are uploaded and you can watch them first. Okay, Malaika, so what's this thing about the Black Lives Matter? What's all this about?
Okay, so I know that it kind of really rebooted out of George Floyd being murdered, which was horrendous. I couldn't watch the video, me personally. But Black Lives Matter has been something that's been around for many, many, many years.
Okay.
And the difference between Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter, which is a really good topic, is that black people are the most hated race in the whole world.
Wow.
And we've been persecuted for the last 300 to 400 years.
Yeah.
And no other race has endured that drenching of hatred like we have.
Okay.
Other races have been through different things.
Yeah.
But there's something quite profound about black people all over the world.
Right.
And for people that don't understand the difference between Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matters, all lives do matter.
Yeah.
But in this content today now, it's very important about Black Lives Matter. Yeah. We need a lot of support and a lot of help right now.
Can I draw it into context? So is it like, you know, we've just as an analogy, like we've got the animal kingdom, and we need all the animals, we love all the animals, but then there's an endangered species which on the brink of extinction. We need to give them a lot more focus.
Yes, just now.
Yeah.
And there's a story in the Bible where God's got 800 animals and one of them is sick. And the rest say, why, God, are you just looking after that one?
Yeah.
And God says, because that one needs looking after now.
Right.
You guys don't need looking after today, now. But this one does.
Yeah.
And for me personally, my life's changed since George Floyd died. I've been in more meetings from morning till night pertaining to Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
I've been contacted by so many different groups and people. And there's a couple of middle class groups that I'm connected to that I've challenged them. And now they've created groups out of it.
Right.
And those people have set up WhatsApp groups. They're
very active.
Really, and I've had them crying and saying that they're frightened and they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
They're fearful. I've had one white friend ring me and apologise and say to me that she wants to apologise for what her ancestors did to my ancestors. So to me, there's different things that are coming out of this.
Yeah.
And I believe, and I'm really pushing for it with a few other members of our community as well, that because it's been such a global response in the time of mankind and history, I have never seen the globe respond.
It's been massive.
To me, I'm so proud that I'm alive in this revolution. I'm so proud and just, it's almost like I'm smiling at night when I go to bed because I'm glad I'm not reading this.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm living in it. And I'm just trusting and I'm praying that I can be, even if it's 1%, Aqeel, 1% of that change. Because I really believe we're going to see a lot of things moving and shifting.
I mean, it's quite interesting that, you know how, for so long, it's almost like we here to talk about all these strategies that are being pulled down. It's like, all right, it's not the most important thing, but the fact is that these symbols have been there and have been almost like, well, it's that's just the way that it is. Kind of thing. But it's like actually now saying, no, we're not having it. So therefore, it's almost like people are starting to take notice now because we're actually trying to remove all these symbols and we're actually recognising how this society that we live in is quite institutionalised in terms of its racism and actually doing things about it.
When I first seen the statues, I was like, go on, I was quite shocked. But when I sat down and had a breathe about it and think, I think that I don't know if them statues should come down, but what I do believe is our statues need to be up there and should have been up there.
Yeah, because there was I think I read this morning, or was it yesterday, that there was one of the statues got pulled down, I think it was in Bristol, and then a community artist, he created a statue of one of the women who was instigated that.
Oh, is that who that woman is? I've seen it, but I didn't read who it was. Yeah.
But then apparently the council has actually taken it down because he didn't have permission.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's just politics.
But it's almost like, well, actually, what would you rather have? You'd rather have a person that was known to be a slave master on there, or something that's going to inspire people. And I think sometimes you just got to think at whoever it is has got to think. You've got to think outside the box.
Yeah. I mean, I've got some really good ideas around it. I think that I'm in conversations with the council, the leader of the council, and Andy Burnham, because I'm asking for funding for us to get Black Lives Matter painted on Princess Road.
Okay.
And I'm asking if you can get us posters done, just like they did for COVID, just like they did for NHS. Yeah. And if we can get banners made to be put up to say that, you know, Manchester is proud and we support Black Lives Matter. Yeah. I think my vision on it, I think we should set up like a project, like in every black community in the UK, we train up Black Lives Matters consultants. Okay. And then they go back into their community and they cover all the areas like health, education, policing. So there's something practical that comes from that will then benefit people. And to me, it's like every Black Lives... I'm just using this as a name. Yeah. Every Black Lives Matter practitioner in that community focuses on young people, one on education, one on housing, and I think they're then to employ others and to create the change of policy and see it gets implemented in the community. This is not going to be an overnight fix thing. This is years and years. Absolutely. I think that often whenever something happens, though, in the 80s we had the riots, and we want change immediately. From my experience, anything that changes suddenly doesn't last long. No, and it's got to be a sort out program with the long-term strategy. When you go for that slow process, you're looking at all the pitfalls and it builds up a lot stronger. I mean, when I was at university, we did a lot of study. We studied on kind of like Mossad. Well, I did a project on kind of like Mossad and community groups in Mossad after the riots and after, you know, all the issues that came up. And Mossad had was the highest concentration of community groups in a square mile. Wow. But they didn't last. No. So it's looking at, well, why didn't they last? Because the willingness was there. Yeah. Why didn't they last? And let's build on that and then create something that is long lasting, that's going to be with the community for forever, and that the community is going to benefit from. Because one of the things I recognised is that, you know, so I've kind of just thrown myself in it, and it's like, I made a joke to my aunt the other day and I said, no one better die and want me to bury them, and no one better not want their babies blessed, because if it's not Black Lives Matter, you know, as a joke. I mean, of course I'll still bless anyone, but just as a joke. But for me, it's like, what we do now, I don't want it to be just about... token gesture. No. And I don't want it to be about paper, just laws on paper, and I don't want it to be only for our next generations. I want us to see some benefit of it as well. And we just can't do it. You know, the non-black communities, they need to take responsibility. We all have to come against that idea of everyone coming together. And I think that has, you know, I was coming from my local shop. I've got this thing now because we're in COVID, and I'm doing 10,000 steps. So I walk to my local store. I mean, it's not that local actually, so I'm going to get me 10,000 steps. And on the way back, I walked through a park, and as I came through the park, there was this guy setting up something like a microphone, and a couple of people stood around. And what's going on here? It's going to be like a band or something. But then I saw that they had Black Lives Matter posters. Yeah. Was it in Old Trafford? It was Gores Hill Park. Right. Okay. Because what they've done is, I don't know if you know, but every Wednesday at 6 o'clock, all over Greater Manchester, people are bending the knee in lots of different places. Right, okay. There's a big poster. Yeah. And it's going round, so even things like that, them still keeping the momentum is
going,
really good. I think another thing that I've been invited to do to a lot of white groups is they want me to tell them what my racist experience has been, and that's been really useful for them, and it's been useful for me. And also we've set up this Black Lives Matter with Faiths.
Okay.
And what we've done is it's every Monday night at 6 o'clock on a Zoom call.
Okay.
And we invite different faiths to listen to a black person and their experience. And then the listeners can ask questions.
Right.
And we've had like 60, 70 people on the call.
Right, okay.
The first week I did it because I don't know if you know, we had a big police incident where an officer hit me and Jazz and loads of us. Yeah. So I talked about my experiences. That's been one of many with police. The second week we had Aqeel Mundell as a young person.
Yes,
he gave a fantastic testimony.
Yeah.
I mean, I had no idea what he goes through.
Yeah.
He deliberately wears certain clothes when he's going to certain places. Yeah. It was. I was just.
Yeah. So like Akeem, he's it's from Old Trafford. I used to work with Akeem at we're going to talk about it after the break.
Yeah,
we're going to go for break now.
Okay.
So Aqeel, VoUK TV, here with my special guest, and we're going to continue talking about Black Lives Matter and how this incident has catalyzed all this beautiful work and given us great hope for the future. Don't forget to come back. Okay, assalamu alaikum guys, welcome back. Yeah, we were just in the middle of talking about a young person who that we both know, Aqeel Mundell. What honours has he got?
Well, you know, like you get an MBE.
Yeah.
He's got like a young person something.
Yeah, he basically got this award from the Queen. And you know what? The reason why we were kind of talking about him is, again, it's that same thing about that it's a catalyst or something that we'd seen as something negative. One of his a friend from his school was he lost his life. He was murdered in South Manchester, and from that, he then decided that, you know what, I'm going to use my life for good. I'm going to use my life to steer people away from gangs and from that whole kind of culture. And now he works in a school. In fact, I think he's the vice principal of the new school in South Manchester. He has a website that's helped thousands of young people in Manchester to find jobs. This guy is just a massive inspiration, and we were just kind of like, he was then talking about his experience of kind of like how he has to go about his daily business because of kind of like racism. But it's just that idea that catalyst, that thing that happened, that for some people may, you know, that may turn the life around in a negative sense. Okay, there's no point in worth living. There's no point in trying. But he said, no, actually, I'm using this for good. I'm using this as a means to push me forward. Yeah. And this is what it is. This is what life is about. Things are going to happen. Don't you? Things are always going to happen, but you have a choice about what it means to you. And like I say, my mantra is things don't happen to you, they happen for you. And it's about taking that by the bullhorns and taking that and running with it.
Yeah. What was interesting in his talk, he said that he really enjoyed sharing his racist experiences because for all of his life, they're just happening. He just hides it. Yeah. And he might mention it to a friend or to somebody, but to actually be able to just
share
it all out.
It
was like a therapy lesson for him, he said.
Yeah.
And I'm finding that every time I share my experience to groups of people, is that it's not just therapy for them, but I'm finding it's a therapy for me
as well,
because it's a way of releasing it and sharing it. And it's good, I think, that the non-black people can sit there and listen and learn by it.
Understand.
Some of them are horrified.
Yeah.
There's tears sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think it's good because it's shifting something in them.
Yeah.
So the third week we had a politician, you know, the young woman from Old Trafford. She's the councillor, a mixed race woman.
Oh, I don't know her.
She lives on Ayers Road. She's called, is she called Akina? Is it Akina? We interviewed her on Monday.
Okay.
And I can send you all the links anyway. And she talked about her experience as a councillor in Old Trafford.
Right.
She's a councillor of Trafford, but she lives in Old Trafford.
Right, okay.
Yeah, on Ayers Road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Touch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Google it. Google Trafford councillor and she'll come up, Okay. So the next talks we've got is someone about faith. You know, Faye from Cannes.
Oh, no, I don't know her.
Caribbean African Health Network.
Okay, yes.
Faye Bruce, she's called.
Right.
She's the chair, or if she's not the chair, she's got a high position in there.
Yeah.
But she's coming on Monday to talk about health with black people. And then we've got a parent on one, and I think we've got sport for another. Okay. And it looks like we might have to do more like business.
More because there's, yeah.
And then I've talked about the it's gone blank. Post-traumatic slave disorder.
Okay.
There's a lot of research out on that.
Right.
And so we're thinking on doing a subject on that as well.
Okay, brilliant.
But they're really doing well.
Okay.
It's like talking shops, and I think with Black Lives Matter, this is what we need.
Yeah.
We need lots and lots of conversations, and sometimes even painful.
Yeah, definitely.
But healing, it's a way of healing.
Is a way of growing as well.
Yeah, and it's a way of learning as well.
Yeah.
And I think they're one of the crucial things that we need a lot of.
So, I suppose in kind of summing up this whole, it was tragic that a man lost his life at the hands of the police. But from that, there's just been this global movement and this shift in how people think and how people act, which, if it didn't happen, we wouldn't have them. We'd still be in the same situation.
And I think that I do really believe, and I do really trust for real, that change is going to come from this.
Yeah.
I can feel it in my blood.
Well, I think that if everyone works towards it and continues this momentum, then definitely. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of change has already occurred.
It has.
I think most definitely, and I think that it shifted the way that we think about things. And I think one thing that it shows is that although, we're in a state where we have like a president who is the way that he is, and there's this, it almost seems like there's this big movement for hatred, which is whether it be against particular races, particular religions, that's out there. But actually there is also a lot of love. And again, it's that thing about don't focus on the negative. Because if you focus on the negative, it's quite easy to give up. Yeah. And focus on yourself. Yeah. Whereas if we can just zoom out and actually say, well, actually, although that is there, it's a minority in a sea of love. You know, the Manchester Black Lives Matter protest they held in the city centre in the middle of COVID. How many people was there? About 10,000 people.
I think there was
apparently
more.
that was arranged by a schoolgirl.
Two schoolgirls. I know.
Yeah.
That did it as a bit of a joke, and then look what happened.
Yeah. So it shows that, one, that we are a collective, and two, that we are trying to push in the same direction. Yeah,
definitely.
I suppose that the other incident that would probably on that kind of magnitude was when we had the Manchester incident at the arena, and again a tragic event, horrible event, but from out of that came all of this kind of like love and gratitude and willingness
and
to kind
out
of work
for your neighbour.
together.
And we've got to be proud as well, I know we're connected to the black community, and we know a lot of great things happen in that community, And I know we're both proud of that community because that is us and where we're from. But Manchester, the worker bee, there's real rich and drenched love and how the bees come together and look after each other. And we definitely have that. I was just part of a memorial service at the cathedral for COVID. They've launched an online book where you can put pictures of your family and names of who we've lost in COVID. It's for Greater Manchester. And they mentioned about Manchester being this amazing community and how when we have a crisis we come together.
It's like nowhere else.
I'm telling you, I totally believe that. And it's like, you know, whenever we're hit with trauma or we're hit with a crisis, it's like the bees, I get a shiver, the bees just come together and flock together.
And we start working together.
Definitely.
So there we have it. Manchester is the place to be.
Come and live in Manchester.
We come together, we appreciate each other, we show gratitude, we show love. And this is the way that maybe this is how we need to. We need to have more of this.
More, definitely.
Hopefully, without the trauma, but if we can have that mindset where we're working together and that we recognise that we're all the same, we're all working, and we all have the shared common goals.
Segregation is no good.
We might be different. We might have different ideas, but we can still work together to make this place a better place, and not just for us, but also for our children. So, guys, unfortunately, we've come to the end of the show, and this has been probably. I've been really excited about this show today, and I'm hoping that you guys have enjoyed it as well. Don't forget that every week I'm going to be here on VoUK TV. Make sure that you tune in, click like and subscribe below, guys, and click the bell button so you get to hear about when new videos are uploaded. We're going to be going 24 hours soon, so make sure you tune in. Coach Aqeel signing out here on VoUK TV, and we'll speak soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Peace be with you.